A new survey suggests two-thirds of electric vehicle drivers have faced long waits, too long, at charging stations, sometimes up to 2 hours, with many also finding chargers broken or blocked.
And with most drivers planning trips to avoid recharging altogether, it raises big questions about our charging infrastructure in this country.
So this morning we were asking, are electric cars worth the wait? And if you've got a story to tell, please do tell us. We're joined by motor trade expert Fraser Brown, and we've got journalist and car dealer Danny Kelly. Danny, are you noticing any difference in your sales with electric cars?
We won't touch them, Eamon. We do used cars. They're plummeting in their prices at the auctions. People, generally speaking, don't want them. Although, like anything, if the price is right, people will buy them. What this survey told us is nothing really new. The infrastructure just isn't there. You know, people having to wait 2 hours to charge your car, and that's reflected in sales.
Well, Danny, I know somebody who does want them, or will they get them anyway, because it was part of a company car deal, and that is Miss Ellie's husband. Oh. So tell us now, Ellie, you see, would you actually choose to go out and buy an electric car, or did your husband just have to accept this electric car?
I personally wouldn't buy an electric car because, as you say, Danny, the infrastructure isn't there yet, and I think the range anxiety would cause me a lot of stress. But he decided to opt for it because he was given limited choices of hybrids or electric vehicles. We've gone for it. We don't yet have the port that you have in your house, you know, where it charges very quickly in 3 to 4 hours. So we had to plug it into our mains at the weekend, and it took something like 10 hours to fully charge. Yeah, it has to be left on overnight. So it's not quite there yet, is it, Fraser, in terms of our infrastructure?
Well, I completely disagree. I've had an electric car now for more than 7 years. I have an electric car in the UK, based in the Yorkshire Dales. I have an electric car over in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is slightly more challenging. But overall, if you have domestic overnight charging, and Ellie made a really good point there, if you've not got a charger at home, when your car's sat there doing nothing all night, I can access some of the cheapest electricity available. So for me, it's less than a penny a mile to drive an electric car. And you are right, they do drop in value as new cars, but as a used car at 2 years old, take something like a Jaguar I-Pace that was £75,000 new. It's 25,000 with less than 20,000 miles on the clock.
Dear God, dear God.
Years old. They become really good value for money, and people will buy them when they're second hand.
But are you saying, are you panicking when you're in Northern Ireland, when you go out and about, because there is a lack of chargers?
Well, listen, I'm really pro-EV, and we've had the odd issue with broken EV chargers, particularly yesterday at both Ballymoney at Beasties and also over at Dunsilley. We had issues with chargers, but the charging infrastructure is used very rarely. My mother, for example, she has overnight charging at home. She's never used a public charger, and she's had the car for 3 years. So if you've got that domestic overnight charging, it's cheap. It's very affordable if you buy a 2-year-old EV, and they are absolutely the way forward. I'm a Yorkshireman. I don't like parting with my brass. I want to get cheap motoring, and for less than a penny a mile and a car for less than 20 grand to start with, you know, it sounds a bit blasé saying £20,000, but relative to what these cars are new, they're incredible value for money. And we're seeing mass adoption. There's a garage in Richmond in North Yorkshire that sells more than half of the cars they sell are electric vehicles, and that's in a rural Dales area. So it's about having that domestic overnight charging and not having to rely on public infrastructure.
Danny, where it doesn't convince me at all is, right, so I'm living in London and I want to go to see Manchester United, and I might get there, but am I going to get back down again? Or worse still, if I'm not on full charge, I'm going to miss kickoff because I'm going to have to rely on a public charger somewhere. So is that the sort of anxiety? I mean, you were talking about range anxiety there, Ellie. Is that the sort of anxiety people have? I mean, I genuinely have that. Despite what we were hearing there from Fraser, is that justifiable?
Look, you would be as anxious getting up to the northwest from London, even as Fraser would getting from the beautiful Yorkshire Dales down to London. And Ellie, if you want to try and charge your beautiful new car on the street outside GB News, whenever I come down to the studios, they're taken up by non-EV cars, people just casually and lazily parking. and hogging those spaces. Range anxiety is a massive thing. What this survey tells us, Eammon and Ellie, is that electric cars are sound if you're just going to potter around the Yorkshire Dales. But if you want to go any great distances, they're not sound. You've got to plan with military precision.
Yeah, I disagree. I travel to my brother down in Cornwall. I regularly go on business down to Portsmouth. I'll get in my car in the Yorkshire Dales and I'll stop after about 40 minutes at Woodall Services southbound.
After 40 minutes, you've got to stop.
15 minutes. Well, I'm a certain age. We have to stop anyway as a man of a certain age. So,
that
15 minutes in Starbucks and the car's charged. And then carry on down to kind of Bedford and we're away again. It's 15-minute stops.
What's important is that you can't charge your car at a penny an hour or whatever the great rate was publicly. It's nearly as expensive as petrol or diesel. And people mustn't underestimate the price of cost of coffee. You know, all of a sudden you're having to buy 5 people a cup of coffee. Where's the value, Fraser?
Where is the value, Fraser? That's the point.
Value, man?
Guys, I don't know if we've resolved anything this morning, but thank you for the debate. Really, really do appreciate. And if you are going out in an electric car, any car, whatever, here's what's happening on the roads.